Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back to, oh, and he's gone. Welcome back to another video in our adventure with this Arduino project. Reminder that there is now a link, there we go, this way. A link down in the description to a version of this course that has been squashed down a little bit shorter so it's easier to get through quicker. So go ahead and find that in the description. And that is a paid course, but if you would like to support the channel, you can buy that and help us pay for our little toys. So we have a list of to-dos here that we added last time. After we added this rock that comes through, it is totally a rock. Yeah, we couldn't come up with a good design. So if anyone wants to come up with a better design for that and send that our way, that'd be great. Go ahead and put that in the comments or something. It came up that it's really not fun to just have it, be the same over and over again. Also, this is really slow. So that's another thing we need to fix, is make it a little faster. But the first thing we want to do is make it not the same every time. So I have this little instructions up here for for random. We have these instructions here for how to use the random command in Arduino's library to get a random number. And why do we need a random number? How are we going to decide which row the rock is going to be on? There's two possible rows. There's row 0 and row 1. So we need a random number that is either 0 or 1. So that's what we need to do with random. So when we go to set a new row down here, instead of going from 0 to 1 and 1 to 0, we're going to delete that. We need to set rock row to a random number that is somewhere between 0 and, we're going to say 2. Why 2? If we read these directions over here, random takes a minimum and a maximum. The minimum is the lower bound of the random bound, inclusive. That means that the number it returns can also be that. So the random number it returns can also be, in this case, the 0. Max is upper bound of the random number, exclusive. That means it doesn't include that one. So if we get a random number back, it will be something that is less than 2. Okay. So it will be, and it says it again here, it'll be between 1 and then max minus 1. So it's going to be between, in our case, it'll be between 0 and 1. And it returns a long, which, remember, is a longer int. So I'm just going to put this in here and say, hey, that long, let's turn it into an int before we set it to rock row. And now it should be random. And to make it a little faster so we can see what's going on, I'm going to make our tick time a lot faster. So it's going to say that's 50. So it'll be 10 times as fast. So I broke something. I forgot my semicolon again.
Semicolon.
So, okay, that is a little too fast. The rock is moving too fast. You can't actually see it going anywhere. So I was thinking maybe 100 before. Let's go ahead and go with 100. So now we know that 50, too fast to see. Okay, so it's on the bottom. Oh, bottom again. Bottom again. Bottom again. Top. 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 Top.
Why is it doing
Top.
it so fast?
Bottom. There we go. Okay, so it doesn't switch back and forth every time, but that is the point. It is random.
Whoa, it did a bunch of top and then down, then top again.
Yeah. So it is a random number.
Why
Okay.
does the semicolon matter so much in coding?
In some languages, like this one is C++, the semicolon is how you mark the end of your line. And so if you don't have the semicolon, it doesn't,
She's like,
it
help.
can't compile properly because it doesn't know where the end of the line is. Other languages don't have that, but they're newer ones. You can talk about that more some other time. But in our example code, we can also see something else here about a seed. random number generators from a computer aren't really random. Okay, so, brother, if I ask you to give me a random number between 1 and 10, say a number. Any old number.
5.
5. Okay. Sister?
4.
Okay. Another number.
3.
6.
7.
0.
Okay. Did you notice something there? You actually had a pattern going for a minute. You had 4, 5, 4, 3. You're going down, and then you went up to 6, probably because like I shouldn't continue the pattern. And then you said 7. Then you said 0. You did not repeat any of those numbers. So even humans can't properly randomize numbers.
Oh, true.
We tend to make patterns. Even as we try to make random numbers, we make patterns. Computers are even worse. Computers are what we say deterministic. You put something in, you get the exact same thing out every time you run it. So a computer, because it's deterministic, you can't get purely random stuff out of it. You have to make something up that will kind of look random, but really it's just a pattern that if you run it long enough will look like it's jumping around until it comes back to the same thing. A seed is used for a random number generator to determine where that pattern starts.
Can you slow the rock a bit?
Yeah, let's slow the rock back down. Okay.
Like,
Put the rock back the way it was. So a random seed in your code is where your pattern starts. Your pattern may look kind of random, but if you run it starting in the same place every time, it will give you the same thing every time. So if we take random seed from this example here, and we put it into the setup, okay, so we set up the LCD, we're going to set up random seed. If we set the random seed to 0, for example, and then we start it, we won't wait long enough to tell, but if you were to wait long enough, you would see that the rows would be the same every time we start this over. Say it was 5 low, 2 high, 2 low, 3 high, and you start the Arduino over, you do that same pattern over again. Because we gave it the same seed, that sequence of random numbers started in the same place. And computers can't really do random. They just do
a
patterns. So what this is doing is saying, if an analog input pin is unconnected, random analog noise will cause the call to random seed to generate different seed numbers each time the sketch runs. What that's saying is, analog 0 is one of these pins over here. This one. Analog 0 is over here. It's not connected to anything. So if we take this random seed and we put it back the way the example had it, the analog read, what this is going to do is it's going to read what's coming in on this pin, and it's going to turn that into a number. And then that number will be our seed. Because this is not connected to anything, this is something that you won't know really yet about electronics, but because it's not connected to anything, it is just kind of random. The only way to get really random things is from the world. Just stuff. Watch some birds, feel the wind blowing through the trees, that sort of thing. To get something really random, you have to get it from out in the world somewhere. And electricity is a great place to get something random. So what this is doing is saying, take that pin, we don't know what it is, so that is random, and we'll use that random number to seed our random number generator. And now every time we run this, the row we get down here will actually be pretty random, because we started it from this analog pin. That makes sense?
yeah. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't have a question. It's just something to say.
Okay.
If it's too slow, it's not that fun. So you can set it to like 300.
Yeah. So the speed is something we are going to do in a different to do. Okay. We are going to come back to that. But that is a good point. You could tell from when it was moving really fast that it was too fast. And right now it feels a little too slow. So we're going to handle that in another time. But right now, we can mark off our random rows as something done. It is now random. So I gotta go up now, and then, oh, that's an issue that Sister noticed after the last video stopped recording. Sometimes when you hit the button, it goes back. So that is a to-do for maybe the end. We don't have to fix that. It is a little weird to do. Maybe figure out the double move on one button press. I think what's happening is you press the button like right at the end of the 500 milliseconds and it moves, and then the tick comes around again and moves on the next one, I think. And to handle that, to fix it, we would have to handle this better, which is, remember from the other video I said we could get into much more difficult logic here to handle it more differently. Yeah, that's the stuff I didn't want to do yet because it gets more weird and complicated. So maybe we come back to that sometime. But for now, we've handled the random rows, and in the future we'll handle pause button. We need to know when we actually hit the thing. Another thought I had was we could actually make this a jump button, and all of the rocks actually come on the bottom, and you have to time it right so it jumps over it when the rock's coming. So, maybe we could do that later. But any other thoughts for things that we can do?
The countdown.
Once we get a bigger board, this isn't for like right now, but once we get like a bigger screen, maybe we could do like it coming from the like top.
Yes. Yeah. So that will be a completely different project, but you're right. Bigger board, and that is something I was thinking. If we get a square one, actually then it could come from any direction. You could have the man go left and right and up and down, and they could come from the right or left or top or bottom. We actually could do left or right here, but yeah, maybe we could do a switch sides. Rock comes from. That's something we could do. Okay, so yeah, there's definitely more things we can add to it, and we can come back to those later. But for now, we have randomized rocks. So we're gonna call that one there for now, and we'll see you in the next one.
But still.
Bye.
Bye.